Good morning.
Hey, what do you make of the fact that today the Electoral College is meeting? The cover of the New York Post is D-Day. And, of course, some on the political left this is their last chance. They're sore losers. They're trying to steal the election. What do you make of what we're doing over here?
Well, I think those who are trying to deny what the result was, and by the way, we've got some here who still can't recognise the fact that we voted for Brexit and would like to reverse it. It's the same phenomenon. It's the same kind of people. It's those who've been in love with the liberal media elite. And I think it's quite disgusting to try to get delegates to reverse their votes today of all days. I don't believe it's going to happen. It would be absolutely monstrous if it did.
Yeah, Mr. Farage, I mean, obviously you've seen similar trends on the Brexit side. They try to stop it, but it's also an effort to discredit it. How far have you seen the left go there to do it, and what should we anticipate here?
Oh, well, we've seen, sort of violent protests, but mind you, I saw a bit of that myself in Fifth Avenue outside the Trump Tower the other week. So, I mean, that's similar. What we've now got, of course, are a series of legal cases trying to delay the government over Brexit, over triggering this Article 50, which is the legal mechanism that we need to use to leave the EU. And we even had a left-wing member of Parliament claim that maybe Russian hacking was why we all voted for Brexit. So it's the same. Yeah. So it's the same. Yeah, it's the same miserable list of excuses from people who've had it all their own way for far too long. I'm sure that things today will go just fine.
Mr. Farage, I'm struck by this. When President Obama was first elected in 2008, one of the early things that he did is he went on this apology tour. He went on a couple of them. He went to many countries across the world apologizing for the things that he said that America had done wrong. Donald Trump, he wins. He goes to the heartland of America. He goes to the states that helped elect him president. What is your take on all that, and how are folks overseas reacting to Donald Trump's, if they are, going to regular folks in America, whereas Barack Obama headed overseas?
Well, I think Trump's absolutely right. He got these people to vote for him, despite the fact they were told that, terrible things would happen to America and America's reputation if Trump won. There's what I call Project Fear, and we have much the same of it here. So, no, I think what Trump has done with this sort of victory tour is absolutely right. And yeah, people like Obama, and we had a very similar Prime Minister in Tony Blair. It's all about virtue signaling. It's about showing the international community what a splendid fellow you are and what wonderful values you hold. And in a sense, that's why we've got Brexit. That's why you've got Trump winning. We've had enough of politicians that posture to try and make themselves look good and don't appear to really give a damn about the lives of ordinary people.
Well, I tell you what, Nigel, Barack Obama now in the legacy phase of his presidency. He's almost out the door. On Friday, he had what could be his final press conference, and he made a statement that we thought, it'd be great to have an international perspective. So I want you to listen to this, and then we want your point of view on it. Here's President Obama talking about how things are so much better off in the world now after his 8 years.
Almost every country on earth sees America as stronger and more respected today than they did 8 years ago. In other words, by so many measures, our country's stronger and more prosperous than it was when we started. It's a situation that I'm proud to leave for my successor.
So, Nigel, is the United States of America stronger and more respected than it was 8 years ago?
This is self-delusion, isn't it? It's somebody coming to the end of a very disappointing 8 years, doing his absolute best to try and write the history books. Here we are. I'm in the United Kingdom. We have been your oldest and closest, best ally for a very, very long time. Let me tell you that not only is Obama's reputation here lower than I can think of any American president for some time, but actually America's reputation is lower. We used to be friends. We used to get on together, and yet we saw an American president looking, frankly, to Mrs. Merkel as being the boss. Obama backed European political union. Obama-backed countries giving away sovereignty, and Obama watched the rise of ISIS and appeared to be completely helpless. And I think America these days, I'm sorry to say this, but it looks a lot weaker than it has done for a very long time.
Well, and of course, Barack Obama came to your country and said you should not vote for the Brexit as well, which the people obviously had their own idea and their own voice. How do we repair this special relationship? What's the most important thing Donald Trump can do to restore America's role in the world and also U.S.-UK relations?
Well, I've noticed that the British media, who were almost universally against Trump, and indeed almost everybody in politics in Britain, apart from me, was against Trump, but I've noticed that things are changing. What is clear is that Donald Trump and many people around him do value the relationship that we've had together. You know, just think of the triumphs and tragedies that we've shared together over 100 years. Just think of the fact that without Britain and America, you know, liberty, democracy would have died completely in Europe and possibly much of the rest of the world. And I think the signals are clear that a Trump administration wants to have a proper trade deal with an equal partner in the United Kingdom. I think that matters. And I also think we need to recognise that NATO, it may need redefining, but we've got to get people to start paying their way. And I think Britain and America can work closely together on that project. And let me tell you, I am really genuinely excited about the prospects for both of us now.
Well, you've been meeting with Mr. Trump. You know, I would like to know which countries Barack Obama views us as being more respected by. Certainly not China, swiping our drones. Iran harassing our sailors. We get the same stuff happening from Russia, exactly.
Cuba.
So, which important ones value us more? Yeah, Cuba, good point.
I mean, look, you know, Barack Obama is popular with all the countries that he's been weak and that he's appeased. But around the rest of the world, America's standing is poor. And as I say, you know, it is during the course of this 8 years that we've seen ISIS come to prominence. And I've not heard a single word from this president about how to deal with ISIS externally, and certainly how to protect America better from people who might be ISIS agents. And I think a lot of people did vote for Trump because they thought, you know what? You know, we may not agree with everything this man says, but he does at least appear to want to make America a safer place. And I think that really matters to voters.
And real quickly, before you go, exit question. Our chief diplomat, talking about the relations between the United Kingdom and the US of A, our chief diplomat, it looks like it's going to be Rex Tillerson, former CEO of, soon-to-be, of ExxonMobil. You know, so much has been made of the fact he was never in Washington, he was a businessman, he's friends with Putin. What do you think about this guy as a pick?
Well, Trump said he wanted to drain the swamp, by which he meant he did not want career politicians, you know, who cared more about their own future than the well-being of the country to keep running everything. I think it's inspired to bring people in, you know, whether they've been senior in the military or senior in business, the fact they've not been in Washington, the fact they're not part of the political class, I think it's an absolute breath of fresh air. And as far as Putin's concerned, look, none of us would agree with the things that Putin does in many ways, but we have to ask ourselves a question. Do we want to go on, particularly here in the European Union, and with Obama's backing, do we go on provoking Putin, or do we sit round the table and have a frank conversation with him? And you know, the great Winston Churchill once said that jaw is better than war. So let's start talking to Putin. Let's see if we can find some things that we actually agree on.
There you go. All right. Nigel Farage joining us today from London, where it's lunchtime at breakfast time here in the United States. Nigel, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.